we are one step closer to the full release of the Epstein files. The Senate's already agreed to fast-track the bill to the president's desk as early as tonight. And Chuck, a.k.a. the Walking Dead Schumer, he's still trying to save his seat by smearing Trump.
This will go down as one of the most damaging moments of Donald Trump's presidency.
How many times have we heard that? Well, yes, Epstein was a Trump acquaintance. He knew him, even socialized him. A lot of people did. A lot of people knew Epstein. But knowing someone and socializing with someone is not a crime. Byron York put it well, saying that Trump says not a word, writes not a single email or text, takes no part in any conversation. He's in the Epstein files because Jeffrey Epstein can't stop talking about him. And Epstein was obsessed with Trump, especially after Trump distanced himself from Epstein. And it's the only logical reading of the supposedly bombshell emails. The relationship between Trump and Epstein, remember, soured sometime around 2004 or so. It started with a fight over some Palm Beach property, and then 2007, the president said he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago because he was being a creep and stealing employees, one of them being Virginia Giuffre, an Epstein victim who died by suicide earlier this year. Now, the dates are important because this relationship ended before Epstein was arrested for any sex crimes. Epstein pled guilty in 2008 to 2 state charges, solicitation of prostitution and solicitation of prostitution with someone under the age of 18. Yeah, we all know he got a sweetheart deal, no federal charges, work release, basically only used the jail to sleep. Now, between that and his next arrest, Epstein settled multiple civil lawsuits from victims. Then in 2019, he was arrested on the federal sex trafficking charges. Again, the dates are important because while Epstein was settling those civil lawsuits, he was getting courted by Democrats. A firm representing Hakeem Jeffries reached out in 2013 to Epstein, asking for him to come to a fundraising dinner and offering for him to, quote, get to know Hakeem better. There's also Reid Hoffman, a billionaire Democrat megadonor who went to the now infamous Epstein Island. He was even planning to stay at Epstein's New York mansion back in 2014. But look, anyone involved with Epstein without any clear evidence, we want to be clear. Corresponding with Epstein, having dinner with him, is obviously not evidence of any wrongdoing. But it was the Democrats who kept up the cozy relationships with him, not Trump. So let the files come out, give the victims their due, and let's see if in the end the Democrats are the ones exposed for bad motives and false promises. Here to discuss is Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett. Congressman, we assume there's going to be redactions in these files, grand jury secrecy concerns, other issues raised by Mike Johnson. So will this release satisfy those calling for transparency or those asking for the release for political gain?
I suspect when it all goes out, the Democrats in Congress will have to find another shiny object down the road to kick. And they keep trying to kick Donald Trump, and they haven't been able to do it yet. It's very ironic, the fact that I asked for unanimous consent last week and the liberal media just went ballistic and the Congress went ballistic. So we're trying to hide it. And what did Schumer do? As soon as he got it, unanimous consent, he wanted it on the board. And it just tells you just how backwards and just how really diabolical the left is. They change the narrative so often, and the lamestream media follows up. All they're trying to do, Laura, is to cover up over all the excellent work that President Trump's done. They can't stand that he shut the border down overnight. They can't stand that we're strong militarily. They can't stand that he's ended multiple wars. And their president, they gave him a Nobel Peace Prize basically for a participation trophy. This is just the way. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Congressman, the other issue here is one I raised in the angle, that the Democrats facilitated the biggest human trafficking operation the world has ever seen with the open border under Biden. They didn't care about it. They weren't worried about the victims. But now that we're supposed to believe that they're the great champions of girls' and women's rights against the sex traffickers, who believes that?
No one. It's the complete double standard that they've grown accustomed to. In the past, Schumer could just put out this garbage and filth, and the media would just lap it up like Pavlov's dog. But thank goodness there's folks like yourself, and you've got the podcasters, you got the Benny Show, you got everybody out there who's going after them, is correcting them, and now they've got nowhere to hide. And it's apparent in their reporting by the liberal media, who's even got on them during the bogus shutdown. But you're exactly right, ma'am. These kids have been trafficked. There's no telling where they've been. We know that the cartels have engaged in organ harvesting, all the horrible, horrific things. I've dealt with it when I was in Tennessee. I passed some of the toughest laws in the nation at the time. And, I told one of the reporters today, I'm one of the few probably members of Congress who's held the hand of a mother who's had a child abuse or had a young lady or young boy who's now an adult that has been abused. It's a lifetime sentence they're issuing them, and they cared zero about it. They'll have to, maybe they won't answer to their liberal voters, but I guarantee you they're going to answer to their creator.
Yeah, and meanwhile, they're getting support from all the Antifa and other left-wing activists who are trying to stop ICE. ICE is picking up child sex predators. Again, the whole thing is a sham. I'm not saying the victims of Epstein, that's not a sham.
No, ma'am.
But the feigned outrage on the part of the Democrats, you can see right through it. Congressman, you've done great work. Thank you very much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.